Ted Lange was Isaac in the long-running television series Love Boat. Over 9 seasons, hundreds of Hollywood stars and celebrities made cameo appearances on the popular show. As Barman, Ted was confidant to passengers and crew alike. He was back in Sydney, but he's no stranger to us. The Julie Gets Married episodes were made here. This was to announce the return of Pacific Princess to Sydney in December 2020 for a cruise season deployment. So Ted, welcome back to Sydney.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
And you were here back in the days of Love Boat to make the Julie wedding episodes.
Yes. And I came back about 10 years ago less for a show called Where Are They Now? And it was me and Randy Jones from the Village People, and he's the cowboy. And it was Chris Atkins from Blue Lagoon. They wanted to know where all three of us was, and we all showed up here.
Very good. Now, I went through the list today. During the Love Boat's 9 seasons, there were 552 different Hollywood stars and TV celebrities who appeared on the Love Boat. How did you keep track of all of them?
I didn't keep track. I wish I knew. You know what's really weird is sometimes you'll bump into somebody and it's all, hey, Ted, man, we sure had a good time. And you go, yeah, where were we, Hong Kong? No, man, we were in Greece. Oh, yeah,
on
Greece.
The Love Boat.
Yeah, on the Love Boat, you know. So you sometimes, thank goodness people are, you know, they're really giving in that way that they kind of remind you without causing you too much embarrassment.
Now, I know you've got an amazingly good memory, because you may well remember that over the course of those 552 famous people, there were 3 famous Australians.
Yes.
I'll jog your memory. Trisha Noble.
Trisha Noble, Delvene Delaney.
And Helen Reddy.
And Helen Reddy, who I went to Vegas. I saw Helen in Vegas. And she gave me a ride in her private jet back to the Valley, what we call the Valley. So from Vegas to LA. And she was really, really nice. She was really sweet.
Now on the Love Boat, Isaac was the confidant of the other crew members.
Well, he gave you a drink and you couldn't help but start blabbing.
And did those Hollywood stars need any more confiding than the crew?
No, they didn't. But that was the fun of the show. The fun of the show is to see which crew member was going to have a story with which guest star.
Yeah. Now you're also not an actor, but you're a writer. You're a director. I think you actually wrote some of the Love Boat episodes.
Yes, I did. And that led to me writing plays, and I've written about 25 plays to date. My latest play is a prequel to Othello, which is written in iambic pentameter, and it gives you a kind of an insight to the play Othello. So it's the prequel in that we see how these relationships work, and then if you see my play and then watch Othello, you can't get lost.
That's pretty ambitious to take on William Shakespeare.
I know, but somebody had to do it, so I decided I would do it, and we had a lot of fun. It worked out really, really well, and I had really great actors, so that's part of the deal too. You know, if you have good actors, then you're not afraid to take a leap.
But I know you've also described yourself as a footnote historian. What did you mean by that?
Well, in American history, black African Americans, black slaves and non-slaves participated in American history, but sometimes when the white historians write about an incident, they leave us out, or they make us a footnote. So what I do is I take the same event and I do it from the point of view of the African American guy that's involved or girl that's involved in the story. So I've got a trilogy that I've done, which is the American Revolution. George Washington's favorite slave was a guy named William Lee. Martha Washington's favorite slave was a girl named Ona Judge. Then I do Harper's Ferry, which is the incident that many consider starting the Civil War. There were 5 black guys at Harper's Ferry, and I focus on one in particular, a guy named Osborne P. Anderson. And then that's called the Journals of Osborne P. Anderson. And then I did a thing on the Civil War. There was a black girl that was a slave or masqueraded as a slave, and she was in Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy. She was given to him, and she was in his house, and she was a spy for the Union.
That's amazing.
Yeah, now when you go to, now the thing about this is when you go talk to historians, they try to deny it, but there's too much information to support what you do. And I was able to find out all of this information and put it into place.
Well, just going back to your directing days, you're also a very brave man, because you told Lee Majors, the $6 million man, he had to do another take.
Yes, that's true. How'd you know about that?
Well, I've done my homework.
Yeah, we were doing a scene, and it took 5 takes. What I found out in this moment is he doesn't like to do more than 2 or 3 takes, but I didn't know that. And so we had done 5 takes, and I was trying to get a clean, what they call a master shot. I was trying to get a clean master. And so after the 5th take, he said, "Come here, I gotta talk to you." I said, "Oh, okay, yeah." So we walked off the set, did this in private because he's a professional. And he said, "What was wrong with that last take?" And so I told him what I felt was the problem. And he said, "Listen, Ted, I'm going for the parking lot. I'm not going for the envelope." And I go, "What does that mean?" He said, "I'm not trying to win awards. I just want to get out of here by 6 o'clock. And I said, "Oh, I didn't know. Is that the rules?" He goes, "Yeah, that's the rules." I said, "Oh, well, that's great. I'm cool with that." So he said, "So that's a print?" I said, "No, let's do one more."
And he did.
And he looked at me. This is the moment. He looked at me, and he considered, and then he said, "Okay." And we went back and we did one more, and it was perfect.
And became great friends.
Yeah, we became great friends, great friends.
Well, just finally, when you were making The Love Boat, did you ever imagine that part of what you're doing there was going to be a catalyst for this amazing cruising industry that has now taken off around the world?
Hadn't a clue. We had not a clue. But we saw this thing start to rise. Because when we first went on a cruise, the very first year, 1977, I believe, we did it in 77 and went on the air in 78. When we went on that cruise, it was just elderly people. There were no kids. There were no young, beautiful models in bathing suits. None of that was happening when we went on the cruise. So we're going, well, what? 3 years later, when we first went on, the bartender said,
"This looks great. So
you're not authentic." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You can't have a mustache on and be in the food industry. You have to shave that mustache." I said, "Listen, when you show me how many black bartenders you got on here, I'll shave off my mustache. Otherwise, this is fantasy anyway." So I went back 3 years later. We went back 3 years later, and all the bartenders had mustaches.
They got the Ted Lange look?
Yeah, because people would get on and they go, "Hey, man, where's your mustache? You're not Isaac. And so, but it just shows you the power of television, because like that took off. The whole idea of cruising took off based around our show. People wanted to have those adventures. And it's still going on today. They built the ships bigger and better, and they have more diverse things going on here than ever before.
That's fantastic, Ted. And as we say here, good on you, Ted. Thank you.
Good on you, too.